And then, so that character is pretty successful, right? You're OVW champion.
Yep.
And then Jim Cornette comes to you and says, they've got this idea for you.
Yep.
How does he pitch it to you?
God, I think it was Jim and Arn Anderson, I think, was there at the time. And we really didn't know what that character was going to be. They pitched the idea and we knew about Sean, but we weren't sure, other than I was going to be an Arab. It was going to generate a lot of heat. He talked to me about traveling with Sheik back in the day and, all the heat that it generated. And are you up for this? And I mean, you don't say no. I remember talking to Rip Rogers, who was a trainer there at the time. And he's like, I'm not ready for this. He's like, you never know if you're ready. He's like, you got to jump into the fire and see if you burn. He said, it's not like that, like one of Rip's sayings, but I wasn't going to say no. And it sounded fascinating. And then Sean came in and we had great chemistry and it kind of took off. We were at the house shows when we first started, just trying different things, seeing what the crowd would boo at or if they would even cheer. I don't think we really had a decision made until after the second or third vignette that we filmed in Connecticut before I debuted about what that character was going to be. Were people going to cheer him? Because I am kind of telling the truth. We could have an ethnic demographic that might cheer that character on. But I think the way that I interrupted and the way that character was presented once I got on TV and after those vignettes became more and more aggressive, I mean, it was obviously that they were going to boo, but we kind of filmed those in order, waiting to see the reaction.
Is your background, like, you're not Arab American?
I am not. I am 100% Sicilian. Yes. And Sean is not Arab either. He's Iranian. He's Persian. So again, like I still hear about that, like that I played an Arab character. It's like, it's all phony, man. It's a character on TV. It's the same thing. But with Sean speaking Farsi, it really tied the whole thing together. And that's what really started generating a lot of heat.
It's just so funny to me that people believed that. Like, people believed that what you were saying was your truth.
Right.
It was just the character's truth.
And again, it was an easy character to fall into. They believed it. We would dress up when we traveled, and just people's reactions to seeing, a pretty big Arab and his sidekick there with the head, the glasses, dressed in suits. I mean, people like, we were heavy, man. People looked at us like, watch out for these guys.
Yeah, it was 2004. So at that point, it was just about 3 years after 9/11, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a different time.
It was a very different time in this country. And it was obviously not a great time to be Arab in this country. And so that character really did speak the truth. And I do hear from people who are Arab or Middle Eastern quite frequently about how they identified as that character or with that character and how important it was to them, which is really cool to hear that you actually could have an impact like that on someone's life playing a character. Yeah. But it wasn't just an Italian playing the character that was important. It was what that character was saying and what he stood for. And really the hypocrisy that character was up against in the WWE was really what shone through on that character.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting about that character is the hypocrisy. Like, he is speaking things that are true, and then they're getting booed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they didn't want to look in the mirror and go, this is actually what's happening right now.
Absolutely not. It was true. I mean, everything that I was saying was true. Maybe not the way I was saying it. It probably wasn't the most politic way to say something, but everything was true. And no one likes being shown the ugly side of them. And so you put a mirror on somebody and their hypocrisy and you call them out on it. And that's what that heat was. It was good heat. It was, we don't want to see you heat, not like we don't watch you, but they hated me.
Your entrance theme didn't help that.
Someone told me it was their favorite entrance theme of all time yesterday. I was like, yeah, but it was pretty cool. Like
of all time?
Of all time. I know. I don't know. You're probably just saying that, but yeah, no, I love that entrance theme. But it's still pretty catchy.
It is. It also generates a reaction the second you hear it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no mistaking what's going on when you hear the song. Yeah.
It's like, I don't think we like these people.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they're going to come out here and yell at us.
Especially back then.
Yeah. Especially back then. When did the character really start to pick up momentum? Was it right after the debut?
Picked up momentum right after the debut. And then I think what really put that character on the map was working with Shawn Michaels. I had done some smaller angles, but working with Shawn and then eventually Hulk Hogan, I think that was kind of where I felt that character was at the top of its game. In the ring with someone like Shawn Michaels every night, you really can't look bad. So definitely right around then. And then it kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit up until the end.
I'd have to think there'd be some jealousy from other guys in the back. Like you're in the company for a few months and now you're in the ring with Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, Austin, eventually The Undertaker. Like, there's got to be some jealousy.
I think there was. I think especially when I first got there and nobody knew me, I felt like a lot more heat. Coming in and getting a push to the moon, it doesn't upset the top guys. It does upset some of the mid-card guys. because they look at it as that's their spot. The top guys will tell you if that was your spot, you would have taken it, you know, and so all the top guys treated me really well. And most of the middle card guys did too, but you know, there's just heat coming in and being new. And back then it was a different locker room. You know, there wasn't a lot of rules, but I definitely had some heat during my career in the WWE.